Footsteps meet on hardwood floors, laughter spilling from the doors. Different tongues but hearts the same, learning life beyond the name. At the International English Cafe, talk your troubles right away, sip your tea and stories play. At the International English Cafe.
Okay. Hi, welcome to the International English Cafe call. My name is Tan, and today's meeting, today's topic is love poems. Today is Friday evening in the Western Hemisphere, Saturday morning in the Eastern Hemisphere. All right. Today's meeting is love poems. So the idea for this meeting is having the members either come with a poem to read, so that we can assess through it, or we could pick a poem that I have sent. So I sent out a link or a couple of links for love poems that the members can choose to read from. So the idea is okay, well, take care, Farid. So the whole idea to this meeting is today's right. We're in the month of February, right? So it's the month where we have Valentine's Day, the month or like the day of love. So hopefully we can go through and do some poetry readings. So with that, let's see. Is anybody ready to read?
I'm gonna give it a try. One, Valentine by Lord Britton.
Basically, is it this poem?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So, yep, I guess whenever you're ready, feel free to start reading. Okay. Yep, so go ahead.
Okay. Valentine by Lord Britton. At first, we had ways of talking that filled up the evening until some things could be said. It was a made-up situation in which lives could be lost. Whatever that was now grows inside our bodies as a spongy, pulpy cell, causing pieces of paper we hold in our hands to appear and disappear. All I ask is to take me away from this place. I'm sorry, okay, to another place, very much like this place, where we can meet and 6 months later be married. We laughed and went with me. You laughed and went with me. This is the end, I think.
Yep. Cool. Very nice. I don't know. I can't snap. Like how it is in poetry readings, like they do this snapping things, like if they like it, like they don't clap.
Yeah.
Man, my hands are not in the mood for snapping. I guess it's too dry.
Snapping.
But in any case, right? So this is an interesting poem. This is a good reading. What do you think it means?
It's about a man and a woman. This text is about someone who's talking about his maybe fiance or his partner. So, and the hope that he has after spending some time with her, and he's hoping to get married after spending some time with her.
Okay. Is there anything that you could kind of dissect in terms of this poem?
Apart from the fact that I saw somewhere here that where it says that it was a made-up situation in which lives could be lost.
Hmm.
So this gives the impression that um, some one of them could lose his life. So I don't know if I got it right, but this is what I understood.
Yeah, I think that's a difficult one to understand because um, I'm not really sure if that might be the case,
The
or it
case,
could be
yeah.
the case, right? Or it could be that it's referencing something else that
Right.
because lots of times when it comes to a lot of writers, right, they write about certain things that might be more about the time period um,
Yeah.
versus like what is actually going on. So I'm not really familiar with Donald Britton. Uh, Actually, let's take a look see, right? So,
I just took what I saw the first, you know, because I was on the move. I wasn't like in one place. At what place? One place. So I just made the screenshot and move on.
no
When I
worries.
saw it, yeah, I didn't even take the time to read it.
No, but that's okay, right? Like this is part of what we're gonna do for today, right? Like you don't have to be the know-it-all for this. Um, so in this case, right, he was born 1929 to
Mhm.
May 1983. So he had already passed away like several decades ago. Um,
Okay.
or actually, no, sorry, this is theater, right? Um, oh, okay. I guess he was probably, this is probably, oh yeah, poet, him. Oh, okay. So 1951 to 1940. Okay. So this is interesting. Oh, he died of AIDS. Do you see why he wrote that in his poem?
Uh, come again. What did you say?
So here, right? Like Britton, who died of AIDS-related complication at age 43, left a legacy unrestrained yet audacious poetry that blend private, personal, blah blah, so on and so forth. So he died rather young. He died at
At
43.
43. Yeah.
See? So now when you read this, does this kind of help?
Yes. Just a little. Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
So this is why, like, this is how poetry is very interesting, right? Because if you just read it as a standalone,
Mhm.
then you might understand some things, right? But then when you start to piece together other references, because that's what a lot of poets would like to do, they would reference other things, whether it's because of their, like, based on the time period that they're in, or maybe there's something personal about their lives, something like that. So in this case, this part right here could be referencing that he was dying soon.
Yes.
See?
Yes.
So pretty interesting, right?
Yes.
So like this is kind of like one of those things like we get to learn just from not knowing at first, right? And then we just kind of start diving in. This is one of the nice things about poetry. Let's see. So um for me, like I thought this part was interesting, right? A spongy our bodies, a spongy pulpy cell causing pieces of paper we hold in our hand to appear. Or
And
actually,
disappear.
like so whatever that was now grows inside our bodies, a spongy, pulpy cell, right? So this part right here sounds interesting because it sounds like they're having a baby.
Okay.
Do you see why?
I don't really see it. I don't, this part where it says a spongy puppy cell. I don't really know the meaning, so it's kind of difficult to grasp
Yeah.
the sense of the word.
Yep. So like let's say like, two people had procreated with each other, meaning they had they had relations with each other. They had sex with each other, right?
Mhm.
And now the wife is pregnant. So when a woman is pregnant,
Yeah.
biologically, like what do you think happens?
Biologically, see kind of her body's change. Her body's changes and she sometimes had like how do I say this? I'm not a woman, but
Yeah.
from what I saw, some women got easily upset, you know, when they are
Okay.
yeah, when they
Well,
are pregnant. So
I guess that's the hormonal side, right? But
yes, hormone
so
side, yeah.
but like if you look at it in this context, right? So what some like do you think a baby would grow inside?
Yes. I don't know. When a woman got pregnant, normally the baby should grow inside. But
Yeah.
if there aren't any complication,
Yeah. Um, so this is one way to read this that like possibly like um hit, the author or the person in question right here
yeah,
and his companion, right? They are making a baby. So this could be referencing a baby, right? But at the same time, this could be referencing something else, right? Where um, going back to this again, right? Like it was a made up situation in which lives could be lost. So we know that at some point the author had passed away, and he passed away of AIDS, right? So it could be that whatever this is could be also related to that as well, where like it could be a disease that's growing inside, and that's the spongy pulpy cell. So there's
yeah, it could be
but
related to his
yeah.
life.
So there's a couple of ways to try to interpret this, right? There's no one way, right? But at least what we're doing here is we're trying to speculate what some of this means, right?
Yes,
Yep. And then like when we get to the last two lines, right? Causing pieces of paper we hold in our hands to appear.
and disappear because
Yeah. And then it goes to it and disappear. That's good, right? So what do you think this part would be trying to say?
mm, uh, this part I don't really know how to interpret it because,
Hmm.
like I said, the spongy part and pulpy shell part confuses me a lot.
Yeah, which is fair because like, it could mean a whole bunch of things, right? Um, if I was to guess, right, because the poem is Valentine, one idea about pieces of paper could
Yeah,
be Valentine's Day cards, right?
it could
The
be.
other thing that could be a piece of paper could be a marriage certificate, right?
Yes,
But because it's pieces of paper, right, it wouldn't just be one. Marriage certificate might not be the right one because that ideally would just be like one piece of paper, right? But like those are the kind of ideas to kind of have, right? Um, uh, obviously, like if we were to do like the whole spark notes on this, we will have a better idea. But just trying to have a first guess at this, it's and not knowing much about the author, this is like kind of like how you would play around with a poem, right? Just like you're reading it and you're analyzing and you're trying to assess things, right? Um, but cool. All right. So yeah, that's why like I think that part that right there that that stood out to you. I think that was a kind of an interesting call about the losing of life because then when we looked it up, we could see that like oh he had passed away
Yeah, yeah,
just about over 30 years ago. Funny
yeah,
enough.
yeah.
Cool beans. Um for me also like I thought this part was kind of interesting like and 6 months later be married you laughed and went with me right so it seems like uh you know how most relationships like the couple waits a long time like maybe 2 to 3 years maybe 10 years and then they finally get married and then in
Mhm.
this case like it's like 6 months later but that could be more things that we could, if we were to delve into this more, it might make more sense if we were to read about him. But
Yes.
otherwise, like this is a pretty good poem, right? Like there's lots of vagueness that allows it to be open to lots of type of different interpretation, right? Um, but also too, this is just we could we could see that like it's him and a significant other talking about each other and definitely their love. So this is a very good poem. Thank you for bringing it.
You're welcome.
You see. So Mohammed, uh
Yes.
wait, let's see. Okay, yeah. So this is the poem that like you were reading earlier, right? So like when this is like the analysis of it, right? So Donald feels sad because he lost his friend.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So Valentine by Donald Britton. Valentine is all dedicated to his friend for
David.
saving him to survive. This is about all the times and all the times the fun they had together, I guess. I don't know who
Yes.
wrote this, but their English is not that good. um,
Okay.
it skips all those other parts, but let's see. Use of figurative language. Um, Valentine is a free verse poem. A free verse poem is a poem without rhymes. Okay. I think it is love because they start with love, then they split different ways. Finally, in the end, they got back together. Um, Donald Britton was born in Texas. He earned his bachelor's of, let's see, BA and MA. Like bachelor's of arts and masters of arts at the University of Texas. Donald published one book of poetry in his lifetime. Italy, 1981. He moved to New York City to become part of a circle of gay to do modern slash new poetry. Donald used hyperbole. So hyperbole is kind of like an exaggerative, overly expressive type of way or type of expression, right? Hyperbole. So exaggerated statement or claims not meant to be taken literally, right? That's a hyperbole. So um, Donald used hyperbole. At first, we had ways of talking that filled up the evening. That means they had good times together. He also used metaphor, whatever that was now grows inside our bodies, spongy, pulpy shell. Like, um, I don't think they explain more for this. And then like mood, I feel happy because he got married in the end of the poem.
Okay.
But let's see. Okay, yeah. So it doesn't have any other analysis. It just one person, I guess, wrote an analysis,
Yeah.
but we can kind of start to see, right? Just based off of that, it was pretty telling that it has a nice ending. He has use of hyperbole as one of the types of oh, welcome back, Jishan. Let's see. Okay. But overall, like for that poem, there was kind of a happy ending to it. There was kind of a melancholic or sad part, um, like denoted in the beginning. Um, so it was a pretty interesting poem, right? Just how everything was played out.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go with okay. Hi, Juan Franco. How are you doing?
Fine, my friend. Tank.
Do you have a poem that you want to read?
Yes.
Okay. What's the poem that you want to read?
I choose one poem, the Lord Byron, but okay. Hey, reading. She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron.
Here you
Okay.
go.
She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright. Meet in her aspect and her eyes the mellowed to that tender light, which heaven to gaudy day denies.
Denies.
Denies. For me, the poem, the English, in the many poems in English, not understand the words.
Yep.
It's different the
We we
interpretation,
can
no?
we can go through them. Like so this was something that I saw someone do on a Discord channel where like he had people read poems and then went through words and went through assessments. So this is kind of like doing Lifetime,
Yes.
right? There's more to the poem, by the way, if you want to keep on reading.
Yes. For example, I really know other poems, the your collection.
Oh no
I'll
no no
try.
no! Like there's two more stanzas to that poem. You only read the first six lines. There's
Is the
yeah,
next?
there's more.
Okay. I believe the it's only this part, the poem. I'm reading this part.
Yeah, just read the whole thing.
Okay. One shade more, one rate less, an alpha and alph had alpha impired the nameless grace, which waves in every raven trees or
Tress.
soft trees truss
Like less tress.
Press.
Yep.
trust, okay, or softly lightens or her, her face.
Over her face. Yep.
Her face. Word talks serenely, sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place,
Uh-huh.
and on that cheek and on earth that brown So soft, so calm, yet cloaked. The smiles that win, the tints
Tints.
that glow, but tell of days it could not spend. Admit and peace well and below, and her whose love is innocent.
Nice. This is a tough poem because Lord Byron was a writer from way back in like what the 16 1700s, right? We're talking a lot, maybe even further back. I don't even remember what time period, right? So, for example, over, right? So this is kind of like an older English style. So instead of like over, they would just do the apostrophe because over, uh, like it's kind of like how they would say it, right?
Yeah.
So let's go for like certain like vocabulary words, right? So cloudless climbs, right? Um, this is not a oftenly used word, but if we were to look it up, right? Climbs. Region considered with reference to its climate,
Mm,
right?
Mhm.
So if we were to go further, right? So like it's a literary or poetic term often used in the plural, warmer climes, to refer to a place with different weather, like tropical locations, and is closely related to the word climate. So that's kind
We
of like
can
what that.
even understand it where it said cloudless climbs,
Yep.
right?
So in this case, like cloudless climes, so imagine like kind of like the skies with not so many clouds, right? You're in a
Yeah.
like so like where they're located in an area that doesn't have many clouds. So,
Yes.
um, so you're imagining that, right? So, um, it could be like they're in like high on the mountaintop where like they're always above the clouds. So hence why it's cloudless to them in the skies because they're above the clouds. Or maybe they're it's like how the definition says, right? It's like there might be in a tropical region and it's
But
always sunny.
when you read all the sentence, you can see that there aren't any clouds
Yep,
because it says that starry skies.
yep,
That means there are stars in the sky, right?
exactly. Good. Very good catch, right? And let's see. Notice too, like so Lord Byron has like in this poem, right? Maybe in his other poems too, right? So it's night, bright, light,
Right.
skies, eyes, denies, right? A, B, A, B, A, B. C, D,
Yeah.
C, D, C, D, right? So you can kind of see what his rhyme scheme is like, right? So especially if you have trouble reading the last word of his poem, if you look at all the other words, the other ending words, right? You can start to see that, um, you know, they rhyme and that you can use the rhyme to help you pronounce the words. So there's a nicety to rhyming poems with that respect. The other part to it, right, is like she walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes
Cloudless times. Yeah.
and starry skies, right? So like eight syllables. It's like there's kind of a rhythm to how he writes, I think too. Like, and all that's best of dark and bright, eight, right?
Yeah.
Meet in her aspect and her
Yeah.
eyes, eight, right?
Yeah.
So, so there's kind of a rhythm to it, right? There's eight syllables per line, and each line ends with a word that rhymes with other words
Other
within the
words.
whole
Yeah.
stanza too. Um, so it's kind of rhythmic. You could probably turn this into a song, maybe, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a kind of style of writing from back then where they would use type of this, things like this. It makes a poem like this very memorable. These are examples of literary devices, right? because by using some of this, you're being able to express things in particular ways. You're trying to, um, you know, create a kind of an impact upon the reader. So, especially like there's a rhythm to it, it rhymes, right? It kind of makes things kind of easy. This is a pretty good poem, right? Let's see. But overall, for that first thing, right? So, like, let's us other let's see, thus mellowed thus mellowed to that tender light, right? So basically this whole first stanza is comparing this, I guess, this female to like a very like beautiful um kind of like scenery in terms of the stars in the skies, right? um so gaudy would be a good definition, or so gaudy is gaudy like arrogant? Like, I'm trying to remember. Let's see, gaudy. Extravagant. Okay. So extravagantly bright or showy,
So
typically so as to be tasteless. So okay, this is like really showy, um, very ostentatious. So this has this kind of like um, it it stands out too much that it's tacky. I think that's the best way to describe this.
yes.
So gaudy, right? All right.
Thank. And for example, I have one only for curiosity.
Yep.
This word in this time, this use or not?
Which word?
Which
Gaudi,
word?
for example.
Gaudy. You would find it more in literature. I
Uh,
don't think this is something that you'd find in common, um,
In
like,
everyday
like,
conversation.
yeah, not in everyday conversations or casual conversations, right? This would be more like in terms of literature, um, or if you were to use it in a casual conversation, by saying this, you're placing a lot of emphasis on something because this words does um, stand out quite a bit because it's one of those words that's not oftenly used, and if you know the meaning of it, it's
yeah,
some people might find it offensive. So
yeah. But for example, in the time the Lord Byron, for example, Gaudi is the common use in the vocabulary, no?
well, in terms of literature, yes. I don't think I don't know how they speak back then, so I can't really speak to that. Um, I do feel like they tend to um, their language may be more poetic
Uh-huh.
in common speak compared to how we speak now.
Uh,
Modern day language tends to be more direct, right? It's more prose, so versus poetic language, which is more indirect speaking, right?
mm,
It's kind of like as if you're a guy constantly trying to serenade a girl,
mm.
right? So it's kind of like, it's just like uh, your eyes shine brighter than the stars, as if Zeus is jealous that you know with the brightness of your eyes or whatever, like something like weird like that, right?
yeah.
I'm trying to
Yes,
like
yes,
make
I get
something
it.
of but it's kind of like imagine like they don't exactly talk like that, but imagine like that's kind of what like poetic talk would be like, right?
Yeah,
It's not direct. It's not saying like, oh, you're very beautiful. Like, no,
yes.
it goes beyond that, right? Like you're picking apart, like this is why like the sheen in your um the the sheen and glow of your raven tresses, right?
Yes.
So this is I'm basically segueing to the next part, right? Raven tress.
Or of
Now,
interest.
a tress is basically kind of like a lock of hair or just your hair, right? Um, so tress meaning See, a long lock of women's hair. Raven denotes,
Even in French, that's how we pronounce it, a tress. Yeah.
yeah, right? And then like raven denotes the idea it's the color black, hence black hair. So what's going on here is that the woman in question that Lord Byron is writing about or writing to, she has black hair. This is probably all the reason why he writes about a lot of this stuff about certain things about dark and bright, right? So there's this kind of
Right.
contrast where like she has dark hair, but then brightness could just be within her face, her eyes, or something. So there's kind of a contrast. Like so it may denote that she has lighter skin, whereas her hair might be dark and black. See?
Yes.
Um, and there's other things that about this, but basically, like you know, he's describing this woman, right? Um, so one shade the more, one ray the less. So that denotes like this idea of like lighting, right? So like there's a little bit more darkness and one ray as a ray of sun, right? So like so um there's something going on there where like there's a little bit more darkness, more shading, right? Um, like which waves in every raven tress. So like just imagine like her hair waving, right? Or just like flowing in the wind or just flowing somehow, like waves, right? Um, or softly lightens over her face, right? So then like and then like somehow it just kind of like just places well over her face. Um, where thoughts serenely sweet express, how pure, how dear their dwelling place. Um, this part I'm kind of drawing a blank. Dwelling place is basically like so where you dwell, where you reside. That would be basically like where do you live. So dwelling place would be like your house, right? Or like where you're staying at. Um, where thoughts serenely sweet express. So I guess either she's saying something or someone is saying something um, about how nice their house is from the looks of this. Um, maybe I'm getting this wrong, but that's kind of like you know you can kind of see what they're saying, right? Um, then gets to the last stanza, like on that cheek and over that brow. So still about her hair, like cheek over the brow as an eyebrow, right? So soft.
Eyebrow.
Yep. So soft, so calm, yet eloquent. So there's some sort of refinedness to this. There's some sense of sophistication, right? The smiles that win, that tints that the tints that glow.
Glow.
Tints is like so it's kind of a like shades and tints, like colors, right? So like it's in that realm of things. Um, but in this case, this is a kind of color that glows, right? So there's some sort of brightness in this particular color where
Brightness. Yeah.
maybe like a yellow, orange, or a red type of thing, right? Um, um, but tells of days in goodness spent, um, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. Um, so overall, like it's just really describing this woman. I'm probably not doing justice in assessing this because I'm just doing this off the fly, right? Like I have never read this poem before, but um, overall, this is not an easy poem to read, mainly because you have certain tricky parts like this over, right? Um,
Yeah.
and then like you have certain vocabulary like tress that's not
Tress.
really often used, gaudy, right? Things like that.
God.
But overall, this is a good reading. Juan Franco's poem, right? It's like she walks in beauty analysis. Not interested. Oh, there's even a um kind of a video on this too. But, okay.
Yeah.
So key analysis point, right? Imagery and contrast. The central metaphor compares the woman to a cloudless climbs and starry nights, blending dark hair with bright, tender light. This contrasts typically romantic imagery, which often favors bright daylight by finding greater beauty in the soft, mellowed dark, right? So, like mentioned earlier, like she had dark hair, but then her skin most likely was light. So there's that kind of contrast. So when you have that kind of contrast, then it seems like their face kind of shines more, or like you get to see more focus on their face because of the dark, like because it contrasts with their dark hair, right? So like there's that kind of focus. Inner and outer beauty. The poem moves from physical description to inner character, suggesting her serene, sweet, and calm thoughts reflect around her outward appearance. So there's parts that kind of shows like certain type of demure qualities of her, right? Which is like personality wise versus her outer looks with, all the description of how bright light with dark wavy hair type of feel, right? Structure and tone. The poem consists of three six-line stanzas, sestex, right, which is a set, let's see, heptet, octet, like basically six, right? Sestet, right? Like there's means six, right? With an A B rhyme scheme, the tone is one of admiration and reverence. So basically, it shows that he admires this woman in question, um, and thinks highly of her, right? Context: the poem was inspired by Lady Wilmot Horton, whom Byron saw wearing a black morning dress with spangles, prompting the contrast of light and dark. Oh, so seems like there's this woman that he saw, and it looks like that woman was donned in black because it
Yeah.
seems like she went to a funeral, hence mourning dress, right? Mourning is in like, when you mourn someone's passing, like mourning, right? Movement. The use of the present tense walks suggests a continuous living grace rather than a static portrait, right? So this is basically a woman on the go. You, in a sense, you kind of chase after her in one way of saying this, I guess. So very interesting. Keats, right? The day is gone and all its sweets are gone. Right? So by John Keats. The day is gone and all its sweets are gone. Sweet voice, sweet lips, soft hand, and softer breast. Warm breath, light whisper, tender semitone. Bright eyes, accomplished shape, and languished waist. Faded the flowers and all its budded charms. Faded the sight of beauty from my eyes. Faded the shape of beauty from my arms. Faded the voice, warmth, whiteness, paradise. Vanished unseasonably of shut of eve. When the dusk holiday or holy night of fragrant curtained love begins to weave, the woof of darkness thick for hid delight. But as I've read love's missile through today, he'll let me sleep, seeing I fast and pray. So I think this is a sonnet, right? So like, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yes, this is a sonnet. Okay, so a sonnet is basically a poem that is 14 lines long. It has this A B A B C D C D E F E F and G G type of rhyme scheme.
Okay.
So sonnets are something that you might see a lot from William Shakespeare. He like
Shakespeare.
whenever like he particularly when he writes poems are usually in the form of sonnets, except for Shakespeare sonnets, he writes them with uh, iambic pentameter, if that makes any sense. It's kind of a particular rhythm, like da dun da dun da dun da dun da dun da dun da dun. Like it's kind of like that kind of um,
Yeah.
rhythm to it, right? So like you can basically like move along with the poem, just like the Lord Byron poem, where like his poem has like kind of a rhythm to it. Same thing with William Shakespeare too. But in this case with John Keats, I don't remember if he does anything in that type of rhythm. At least he has the rhyme down, at least, right? Um, but like overall, you can kind of see that I think this is maybe a little bit more of a straightforward poem compared to like comparatively, right? Because this is describing a particular someone.
Yes.
But then the idea to this is like this person's gone. Hence why it's like, the day is gone and all its sweets are gone, right? So he's
Yes.
describing this
Yes.
person, and this seems like this person is
No
going.
longer exist.
Yeah. Or I don't know if they no longer exist, but they went away.
Okay, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
They might exist, but they're not at the same place,
Yeah.
right?
So like for this part, I'm not really sure what it would be about. It could be that like maybe he saw someone and he was enamored by this person, and then they went away. They're gone, right?
They were.
Right. It could be that this might be like a previous mate of his, and then they left him, right? Um, it could be even that like someone that passed away and then they left him in that sense too, right? There could be a lot of reasons why this person's gone. Um, so I don't know what the reason is, but at least it gives you this kind of idea that like um, the first four parts is him describing, I guess, the person, right? Um, but then the second set of stanza, right? Faded, right? So this is this idea that like it's fading away, that there's a waning. This person's kind of like leaving, right?
Yes.
So the faded the flower and all its budded charms, right? So there's this type of, or at least the supposed sweetness of this person is gone, right? Um, so um, their charms, their beauty, like in terms of sight, like how you perceive them, beauty in terms of how you felt them, right? And then the beauty in their voice, right?
Yes.
And then the next four parts, right? Like this is kind of like, everything's kind of like darkening. So imagine like how like the first four stanza is like everything's like all bright, right? It's kind of like summer. Then like everything is fading, like as if it's autumn. And then like when you get to here, dusk, holiday, holy night, wintertime with Christmas. Like it seems like he's inserting that, right? Um,
Yeah.
so there's kind of like things of that
Devotional.
nature,
It
and
fe-
then
feels like everything is disappearing progressively.
yeah, either it's disappearing or just getting darker, and then like you can't see it
Okay.
anymore, type of thing.
Yeah.
Something to that effect, or like not necessarily even not seeing it, but just not being able to feel it, right? Or to
Feel it. Yeah.
engage with it, right? Hence why like, you know, faded in sight, faded in the sense of touch, and faded in terms of like, being able to hear, right? So a fragrance curtain love begins to weave. So fragrance, I guess, the sense of smell, but then it's curtain, right? So like you're closing the curtain. There's a close on this from the sound of it. Um, um, the wolf of darkness thick for high delight. Sounds like kind of like it's pitch black dark with the wolf in the background. Like, woo, maybe. I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
overall, right, like there's a sweetness that was expressed or that's felt by the author or by the person in question, and it basically faded away. I guess that's why this fell into let me see, go back one. Yeah, the whole missing you thing, right? So this is a poem of like of the person in question missing someone. So that's why at first, they experience something very delightful, and all of a sudden, this this person seemed to have gone away.
Yeah.
Or so there's a couple of ways, like that's why there's a couple of ways. Either one, the person just left the person in question, or number two, the person may have passed away, and that's why they're gone. Or three, it could maybe mean that the person got old. So all of
Yeah.
their sweetness and beauty when they were young, now that's all gone away. So the
That's
person
gone.
in question might miss whoever the other person is when they were younger, and now like they're older now, like all that sweetness. It could be that too, which honestly that would be kind of an asshole thing to say. At least the first two things would make it sound more innocent.
Yeah.
But uh, so far these are some pretty interesting poems. Honestly, this is at a much more higher level than
Yeah.
I would expect most members to be able to get through. But overall, it's something that when studying in the US, right? Like this is the kind of level that you would have to um, you'd have to you know be up against, right? Like this is like maybe sophomore year to junior year in high school type of thing. Um, so lots of kids at those ages might not understand any of this at all. Yet they're expected to try to be able to read this and try their best to understand. So um, it's not an easy thing, right? Like even now as adults, if you were to go back to it, you would need to literally have to have spark notes to
Yes.
to try to be able to understand things, which I'm going to let's actually look at that, right?
Maybe tank these poems and try to the learning, the understand in English, no? In English only.
Well, you could do this with other type of literature in other languages, right? Because with poetry and or writings in other languages, when you try to
But for example, this poem you try to the translator and the Spanish is different. The significate the words, no?
well, like if you're translating it, right? But then what if it's a poem that's originally in Spanish? You see, now that's a different
Yeah,
story, right?
yeah.
Like like if you were to take a writing and try to analyze it. Hi, Eli. and try to analyze it within the context of the language that it's written. All right, and then let's see. Was it John Keats? Oh.
It is coming.
Here you go. So here's the analysis for this one, right? John Keats, The Day Is Gone. Oh, actually, he might have been a lot longer ago, John Keats. Oh, never mind. I got that wrong. Oops. Okay, so John Keats, right? So intense longing and sensual loss. So the the opening line immediately established a deep tone of or a tone of deep personal loss. Um, so his beloved as the disappearance of life, warmth, and pleasure, right? Sensory imagery. So um sensory, so like the senses, right? Your um hearing, sense of touch, sense of sight.
Touch, yeah, feeling, yeah.
So lots of sweet voice, warm breath. So they're very audible. Tangible beauty that has vanished, the passing of time, the poem emphasizing the fleeting nature of pleasure, with the day symbolizing intimacy and night
Intimacy.
representing separation and sadness.
Sadness.
Shift to resignation,
Resignation.
resignation, right? The final couplet shifts from grief to more calm religious tone, where the poet finds solace in the discipline of love, using metaphor of fasting and praying to suggest he will endure the separation.
Separation.
So the poem is a Shakespearean sonnet, A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. Although it's not that Shakespearean because I don't know if it's iambic pentameter, right? So iambic pentameter. A line of verse with 5 metrical feet, which consists of one short or unstressed syllable, followed by one long or stressed syllable. For example, 2 households, both alike in dignity.
Alike in dignity.
2 households, both alike. 2 households, both alike in dignity. Right? 2 households, both alike in dignity. I guess that's kind of like the idea to that scheme, right? Like it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So iambic pentameter in simpler terms. A rhythmic pattern in poetry with 10 syllables per line, arranged in 5 pairs, iambs, which each pair has an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed one, right? Da dum, da dum, da dum, da dum, da dum. So in this case, right, 2 households both alike in dignity, right? So 2 house, right? 2 is not as stressed. House is stressed. Holds both. So holds is not as stressed, but both is stressed, right? Like, so is not as stressed, but like is stressed. Dig, so in is not stressed, but dig is, and niti. So the ni is not stressed, but the t is. So kind of like that's the rhythm to it, right? It's like da 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 da, right? So actually, let's go back to that Lord Byron poem again. Let's do it this way. Oh wait, sorry. It wasn't it was this poem, right? So the John Keats poem. The day is gone and all its sweets are gone.
Wrong.
One, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it is iambic pentameter. Oh shh. All right. So the way I should have read this is the day is gone and all its sweets are gone. Sweet voice, sweet lips, sweet hand, sweet voice, sweet lips, soft hand, and soft their breast. Warm breath, light whisper, tender semitone. Bright eyes, accomplished shape, and languished wait, like bright eyes, accomplished shape, and languished waist. Okay, yep. Faded the flower and all its budded charms. Faded the flower and all its budded charms. Like faded the flower and all its budded charms. Or budded. Oh wait. Oh, I guess that might be one syllable. Budded charms, right?
Budded charms.
Flower and all its budded charms. Faded the sight of beauty from my eyes. Okay. So this might sound weird to you guys because this might not be that natural, right? But this idea of the dun, the dun, the dun, the dun, the dun, the dun, the dun. So it has that kind of rhythmic type of beat to it, right? Or rhythm to it. This is how poems back then, like to have something that's kind of memorable and easy to think about, right? It's the use of these schemes, right? The use of these patterns, or for rhythm, but at the same time, like this is also a poem that had rhymes, right? Gone, ton, like gone and tone, I guess. Like this guy was really stretching this word, right? Because they don't really rhyme.
Yeah.
And breast and waist, they don't really rhyme that. But ace, I guess. Like there's a way that he's pronouncing this. But then when it gets to the second stanza, charms and arms, eyes and paradise, right?
Paradise. Yeah.
That makes more sense. Eve and weave, holy night and delight.
Yeah.
And then today and pray, right?
Right.
But overall, like this is delving into something that he's missing. Actually, let me go back, or I'll actually go forward. Right. So overall, there's this idea of passing time. There's this kind of a loss. So from the sound of it, because there's that religious feel at the end, it seems like the person in question had passed away, and he's mourning the loss of this person. Hence why the praying. So this is very solemn.
Yeah.
Would either you, Mohamed or Juan Franco, would you want to read another poem?
Yes, of course, I want to read another poem,
Okay.
but okay, okay, the dream by Aphra, Behn. Je sais pas, I don't know if it's Behn or can you check this out?
Okay, there you go.
Can I go
Yeah.
or I would? Okay. All trembling in my arms, Aminta lay, defending all the bliss I strove to take, raising my rapture by her kind delay. Her foes so charming was and weak. The soft resistance did betray the grant. while I pressed on the heaven of my desires. Her rising breasts with nimbler motion spent, her dying eyes assume new fires. Now to the height of languishment she grows, and still her looks new charms put on. Now the last mystery of love she knows. We sighed and kissed. I waked and all was gone.
Done.
Yeah, was done. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Twa was how do I read
Twas.
this?
Yep.
Twas but a dream. Yet by my heart I knew, which still was panting. Part of it was true. Oh, how I strove the rest to have believed, ashamed and angry to be undeceived.
What do you think?
What do I think? I think I have I would I have to read this maybe twice or thrice to start grasping the pattern. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know this is advanced to me, right? So if I really want to understand it, I have to read it or at least twice or thrice.
That sounds fair. Yeah. So like let's go over certain things, right? So like first off, let's look at like potential vocabulary words.
Mhm.
I don't know what amenta lay means. So
I mean, to me, this might be the name of the persons he or she is talking about.
yeah. Amenta is predominantly female given name of Greek origin, meaning defender or protector. Interesting. Ancient Greek amentis, also used in the Italian and Latin contexts.
Meaning
Amenta.
defender, protector.
Yep. So interesting. So hence why all trembling in my arms and in defending of the bliss I strove to take. So bliss is like this kind of sense of, I guess, contentment by not knowing, right? So like when you're in bliss, like you're happy because you don't know anything else outside of that. Like, this is one of those things that's like ignorance is bliss, right? So like by not knowing, that means it's you're in this kind of happy state. So so there's something that's not being defended, or because in a sense amenta is trembling, and let's see, all trembling in my arms amenta lay, defending of the bliss I strove to take, raising my rapture of her kind delay, her force so charming was and weak. So sentence structure wise, it's kind of weird because you could see that like it's not like your usual like subject and predicate type of sentence structure of like a noun, and then you have the verb then followed by whatever is happening afterwards. So her force is the subject,
So
so
charming
charming was
was
and weak, right? So like that's the verb, and then this is supposedly another verb, right?
or an adjective.
So her force weak, her force was charming, or her force so charming was and weak. So it was charming, it's not
It
charming
was
anymore.
charming and at the same time weak,
Yeah.
right?
like, and notice it was, right? So it's not it's not anymore. It's not charming anymore. It's not is charming, but it's was charming, right? So um, she's not able to charm her way out of this, and she's not strong enough, right? So
Yeah.
like she's basically like there's very little resistance, hence soft resistance. Um,
It betrayed.
yep. While I pressed on the heavens of my desire, right? So basically, whatever is being defended, you're able to plow through this. Like you, like whoever the person in question is, they're able to plow through this type of defense, right? But through all of this, it was like, oh, but it was a dream. Twas a
Yeah.
like so twas is basically it was, right? So that's what twas
Okay.
is.
Was a
So
dream.
yep, so like that's why like twas the night before Christmas, right? Like that whole deal, right?
Was a
So it
dream.
was, right? It was but a dream, yet my heart knew, which was still panting. Part of it was true. Oh, how I strove the rest to have believe, ashamed
Believe.
and angry to be undeceived.
Undeceived.
So, um, like to be deceived is like to be lied to. So to be undeceived is like, you know, to be shown the truth, right? So you can kind of like if you went through this, right? Like in the beginning, there was all this like resistance, but then you as the person in the you and this person, right? It's like they were able to break through. So that's the first six. The next six seems to be I guess the good part. Like if you were to read through it, right? Um, this is the part I guess where like it was more interesting for them. There's love, there's some sort of sense of suspense, there's drama, I guess. Um, so there was a lot of things happening here. I can't really explain it just from, but like just from the little bit of it, right? There's like there's some sense of romantic, like the romantic actions seemingly happening.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yep. And then all of a sudden, oopsies, it was just a dream.
It dawned on him that it was a dream.
Yep. So I guess one way to describe this, right, is that this person had a really nice dream, and then they woke up and they're like, oh, I wanted to, I want to go back to.
It felt like it was true.
Well, and it kind of sent it like when you're dreaming, right? Sometimes it feels really vivid, right? It feels really true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this is a very interesting poem, right? Like it's like this idea to resist, like um you know going into like such a pleasurable dream, and all of a sudden the waves of pleasure starts coming in. It's like, oh my god, I woke up like, no, I did not want this dream to end.
And that I usually happen to me, when I dream to something, I dream about something good, and
Mhm.
all of a sudden I wake up, I can kind of feel like going back to bed and go to this dream again.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. Like I'll feel like, for me, I have dreams where like I'm like flying or I'm doing something very amazing, right? And all of a sudden I wake up and like, no, I want
I
to
wanna
keep
go
my.
back to my sleep again.
Cool. This is a fun poem, I would say.
Yeah.
Cool beans. Let's see. So I guess we weren't doing the analysis right away, but let's see what the analysis says, right? So the dream by okay, so let's see what they say and like if anything that we try to guess was remotely correct or oh wait. The narrator dreams of making love to a menta who resists but allows the act. As their passion rises, the narrator awakens, realizing it was only a dream, but feeling up its effects were partially real.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the narrator was dreaming about actually having making love to this Greek goddess.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So it was very particular.
That's why he said his dream was partly, it feels like it was true.
Yeah. That is very interesting. Okay, so we basically hit the mark, except that I didn't, it was really a menta that was in the dream. Cool. I thought a minta was more or less like a metaphor of some sort. Um, I didn't realize that like they literally was dreaming about this Greek goddess.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go with a Maya Angelou poem.
My angel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I forget when she passed away, but she passed away fairly recently, within the past couple of decades, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
Right. She was, yeah, 2014. So basically about 12 years ago.
Yes.
Okay. So Maya Angelou, let's see. Self-love, right? So Phenomenal Woman by Maya Angelou. Okay. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model's size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say, it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally or phenomenally, yep, there you go, phenomenally phenomenal woman. That's me. I walk into a room, just as cool as you please, and to a man, the fellow stands or fall down on their knees. Then they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's in the fire of my eyes, in the flash of my teeth, the swing of my waist, and the joy of my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenally phenomenal woman. That's me. Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say it's in the arch of my back, the sun in my smile, the ride of my breasts, the grace of my style. I am a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman. That's me. Now you understand. That's why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, I ought to make you proud. I say, it's in the click of my heels, the bend in my hair, the palm in my hand, the need for my care. Because I'm a woman, phenomenally phenomenal woman. That's me. Um, it's not that easy to read a Maya Angelou poem. though, because when you read her poem, she has this kind of dang it. I'm trying to snap. All right.
Yeah,
But like she has this sass.
I've read one of her poems before.
Yep. So she has this type of sass to it, and I don't ever do her poems justice whenever I read them because she has this like kind of sass, right? And I just can't do it. But like it's that kind of attitude when you read her poem, right? When you if you were to read it. Basically it's all about like her loving herself, right? It's like, well,
yes.
like there's this thing about like having self-confidence. Self-confidence is very important. So she describes it down to the detail of like her body and the reaction of others around her.
Yes.
And people may be in disbelief about why she's so confident, but she's like, hey, I am so confident because I am phenomenal.
Woman.
Yeah. And I was having a
so
hard time
confident.
reading or pronouncing that word too.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, Juan, did you want to read another poem?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have one or in mind already, or like would you want me to like?
Yes. First kiss. I don't know what is the first kiss.
First kiss?
Yes.
Let's see. Was it already in here, I guess?
Yes, it's more down. I see the first kiss.
Oh, right here. Okay,
Kim
got it.
Addonizio.
First kiss.
Ah, it's good.
Okay.
Okay. Afterwards, you had that drugged look my daughter used to get when she had let go of my nipple. Her mouth gone slack and her eyes turned back and filmy, vague and filmy, as talk behind them. The milk was rising up to fill her whole head that would loll on the small white stalk of her neck, so I will have to hold her closer. Amazing.
Amazed. Yep.
Amazed.
Amazed and the sheer power of society. Satiety.
Yep.
Okay. Which was nothing like to needing to be fed. The wheel flailing and crying until she fastened herself to me and made the seal light. No, seal tight between us and socket, drawing the liquid down and out of my body. Now this was the crowing moment, this giving of herself, knowing she could show me how helpless she was. That was so that night when you pulled your mouth from mine and lined it back against a chain-like fence in front and burned out short. A man was going to be that vulnerable. Okay. The easy and impossible to hurt.
Interesting.
Yes.
It's very descriptive. Do you know what that first, like, I don't know how many lines worth of it. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Mm.
12, 13, 14, 15 lines worth of it. Yeah. So that first 15 lines of it, that's pretty interesting. Do you understand what's happening there?
Thank. I have one question.
Yep.
Kiss the lips? No, huh?
Oh, where do you mean by kiss the lips? Where?
In the poem. Describe the body, no?
Or are you talking about the whole poem?
Yes.
Okay. So this first 15 lines of it, right? What do you think that's about?
And try to understand, but not say the lips. Kiss the lips, no. That's a
Think about it.
word.
Like what's going on in that first 15 lines of it?
Let go, mind of running back and feel me.
Or actually technically not the first 15 lines, but it was like line 2 all the way to here, right? Because this first part is basically like she's talking about a guy that's kind of had that drugged look, right? And then she compares this guy to her daughter.
For her daughter.
What is her daughter doing?
Mm.
When her daughter like let go of her nipple, like when she's drinking the meal
Yep.
and she let go of the nipple, she kind of uh, got a bit upset. You know, she changes her, um, how do I say this? She kind of change her mood, you know?
Yeah, so that part you're referring basically around here. The wild flailing and crying until she fastened herself to me and made the seal tight, right? So good catch. That's the reference in this part. This might not be that easy to recognize right away, but like,
Yeah, yeah, but at the beginning you can
yep,
see that she's talking about a man, but that is behaving like her daughter used to behave when she let go of her nipple.
yes. Well, the letting go of her nipples, this part right here, right? So this first line is talking about the man, right? And then it gets to the next few lines where it talks about the daughter. Um, so the daughter is, or I mean, actually, yeah, this is you did say letting go, right?
Hmm.
So the idea is like the daughter was like she's breastfeeding her daughter,
Yeah.
and then the daughter lets go of her nipple, but
Mm.
um, like when you're feeding a child, like either breastfeeding or if you're feeding the child milk from a bottle, right? When they're sucking on the nipple of the either the bottle or the woman's breast, then like the child is consuming the milk,
Mhm.
but sometimes like the child might consume too much, hence why it's this part right here, like the milk was rising up to fill her whole head.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like she's really like sucking on the nipple to really get more milk. Got to a part where like um when like
Mm.
her mouth gone slack and her eyes turned vague and filmy. So slack, so like it's not tight anymore. It's slack, it's loose, right? So her mouth loosened up at this point, and like the baby was adjusting herself. There's a sheer power to satiety. Let's see. Let me make sure. Am I pronouncing that right? Because this is like
In France, we say satiety.
Because basically it's to feel satisfied, right? Like this is
Yes,
that,
yes.
what that means, right? The state of feeling sated or satisfied, right? So
Satiety.
satiety. Okay, so I did pronounce it right? So satiety, right? So like to want to be satisfied, because they want more milk. So like basically her daughter was like, no, wailing and crying, and until like she was able to grab onto her mom's breast again, and then started to make the seal tight, which means her mouth was able to seal around her breast, right? And then keep on drinking more milk. And it was basically the daughter was so dependent on her mom. That's how she's helpless, right? So she's comparing this guy to her daughter, where like the guy is trying to, in this case, right? He's not sucking on the woman's breast, right? What she's trying to say is, she's trying to say that this guy is kissing her like how her daughter would suck on her breast, right? That's kind of the comparison. It's the overall theme or metaphor that they're trying to get at, except it's a very long metaphor to try to describe what's happening. So she saw, like, that's what I saw that night, like when you pulled my mouth from mine. So like it's the part where like his mouth got loosened up a little bit and it pulled away from her, but it's like, no, he needs to have more. Right? And then so there's this feeling that he wants to be satiated, but afterwards, like once the daughter was full, then like, you know, she has to pull away. Same thing like this guy, right? It's like at some point he pulled away because he was satisfied with having kissed her. It's like kissing her like a drug. Like, you know, she's like, the guy's addicted, just like how her daughter was addicted to drinking milk out of her.
Yeah.
So this wasn't an erotic poem for no reason. This is quite the choice. Very vivid, very descriptive, right?
Very descriptive, yeah.
So very nice choice. Okay, so at least we both, or like all three of us, have like read 2 poems each. I was hoping that more people joined, but it was in conflict with another person's meeting. So it is what it is. Does anybody have any particular thoughts or questions with the poetry reading for today? So hi everyone. So like, thank you for joining the call. Yeah, like we went through a lot of poems and actually went through an interesting comments, questions, and thoughts. So hopefully I can cut that into a different video. But nonetheless, I'll have my next meeting next week. I'm not really sure what I want to do for the topic yet, but I was mentioning something in terms of a reaction video. So maybe I would want to do that right away. Who knows? But, just know that it's still under the umbrella of the love theme. So hopefully, like, I'll find something pretty interesting for all of us. But until then, take care and have a good morning, day, and night. So take care. Bye. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Tag. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. And then click.
Words collide like fiddles hum, every accent's welcome some. Round the table, dreams are shared, across the world and love is aired. At the International English Cafe, talk your troubles right away, sip your tea, let stories play. At the International English Cafe. We don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy corner lamp. Face to face we find the way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork lives with thread we weave, stories told when you believe. At the International English Cafe, words align like fiddles hum. At the International English Cafe, words collide like fiddles hum. Every accent's welcome some. Round a table dreams are shared, across the world and love is air. Our love is air, across the world and love is air. Across the world and love is air. English Cafe. We don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy corner lamp. Face to face we find the way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. Here's your face, we find the way, in a little cafe day after day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork little cafe day. Hey, accent charts might trace the globe. We don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy corner lamp. Face to face we find the way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork lives with thread we weave.